Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Paint the Roses, a game from North Star Games designed by Ben Goldman, and this is going to be a deduction game. A game where it's cooperative. It's going to be a cooperative deduction game which you and the other players at the table are trying to effectively fill in the garden while making deductions, while making guesses, or not really guesses so much as educated guesses and or just straight up logically deducing the information you want. Now, the goal of the game, for the most part, we have a basic game, we have modules, we'll talk about the modules later, but the basic game is going to result in you want to fill the garden. Every single turn, you're going to be adding a tile to the garden, and you want to do that and completely paint and plant the garden before time runs out. And this gets to the part where how you lose the game. You lose the game if the queen catches you. You see, every single turn, what you're going to do is you're going to take a tile from the greenhouse, and you're going to add it somewhere in the garden, and we'll do some other stuff. We'll talk about it. And then when you're done, you're going to make a guess. Someone at the table has to make a guess about somebody's card, because every player is going to have a card. So for instance, let's say I have an easy card over here that tells me that I want roses to be next to roses. I want those reds to be next to reds. And so if I, for instance, go like this over here on my turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab pieces of my color and I'm going to take this little cube to put it down over here to indicate that there is one match on the table. Or alternatively, I could have gone over here. Let's go here. It's better for the sake of teaching. I'm going to go over here and put down two cubes to illustrate that there are two matches on the table. And this is where the other players at the table now have to make a guess. Now, they don't have to guess my card. They have to guess somebody's card. But likely it will be my card, at least at this point in the game. So they know that when I put down my red over here, there were two matches on the table. That's all the information they have, but that is all the information they need because my card is an easy card, which means they know it's color to color. And since it's color to color, that means two matches inherently means that it has to be red. Why does it have to be red? Because there's two matches. And in terms of the options on the table, it's either purple to red, which would be one match, red to red, which would be two matches. See, there's one here and one here. Or alternatively, no matches at all, in which case it's something else. So the fact that I put down two clues means they know it's red to red. They go ahead and say red to red. I show it. Awesome. We're going to move forward two spaces over here. 1, 2, like so. And at the end of the round, the queen will move forward one space. Every round, the queen moves. Every round, the queen is trying to catch up with you so that it may be off with your head. Although how fast the queen moves comes down to those incorrect guesses. We're going to grab another card and keep going. For the sake of this, I'm just going to keep taking a single turn one at a time, not worrying about any turn structure, but normally you'd be rotating turns as you play. I have a new card. This one is going to be either color to color or shape to shape. And this time around, I'm not going to actually show you what the card is, at least not yet. I'll have you guess. You can pause the video as necessary. And I'm going to try to figure out where I'm going over here. So, we're going to clear my cubes because my turn is done. And I'm going to go ahead and place this like so. Okay, so I'm going to put that down there. And then I'm going to put down 3 tokens on this card. Okay. Now, you should have all the information you need. Just to be clear, what I'm going to tell you over here is we have a yellow spade, we have a purple spade, we have a red spade, and we have a red spade. And I put down 3 matching clues. And all you know is that my clue is either color to color or it's shape to shape, meaning this could be any color to color combination or any shape to shape combination. It's not a color to shape combination. We'll see those in the hard cards. So, what's my card? You can pause the video right now in case you haven't. Yes, it is indeed spades to spades. We're going to go ahead and move forward 1, 2, 3, and move forward 1. We're going to keep going at this. But this time round, I'm going to grab a hard card, expecting full well that something will go wrong here. I haven't prepped these cards. I haven't planned them. None of these tiles. This is all me making it up as I go along and hoping for the best. We're going to grab a hard to hard card, which means it could be color to color, shape to shape, or color to shape. The reward is getting greater, but so is the potential penalty. So, actually, the penalty is not actually greater. The difficulty is greater. And then from there, I'm trying to make this work. I know what I need to do. I need that versus that, which could be that. Okay, great. It's actually interesting. I'm going to go ahead and place this down. That's so interesting. Okay, I'm going to place this down over here, like so. Okay, I'm placing this down there and putting down a single marker on it, which is not enough information for you, or at least I don't think it is. It's definitely not. No, it is enough. That's not good. Okay, cool. Well, it's too late now. I placed it down, but for the record, I definitely, totally, absolutely messed up over here. Now you have some options on the table. What could it be with the information you currently have? Think it through. Try to figure it out. You don't have a perfect answer, but you are welcome to guess. Again, it's either color to color, shape to shape, or color to shape. And now, if you haven't paused already, we're going to go ahead and walk it through. It could be diamond to it could be yellow to yellow. There's 2 matches there. That's totally possible. The other option on the table is it could be diamond to yellow. Sorry, I said diamond to yellow. It could be diamond to yellow, and it could be yellow to yellow. Those are the two options you have right there. I think those are the only two options, although granted, I'm doing a video recording right now, so I'm not taking the time I normally would to think it through. Those are the options on the table. Now, there is more information in front of you at the same time. This is one of those things about the game where it's important not just what you do, but what you didn't do, although granted, after placing my piece, I said I messed up, so you shouldn't read into what I did or didn't do. But as you play with more and more skilled players, what players do and don't do along the way is going to matter as well. And so let's just say, for the sake of this example, that you go ahead and guessed yellow to yellow. Those of you who guessed diamond to yellow should be happy right now, but if you guessed yellow to yellow, we're now wrong, we're not going to move forward, and the queen's going to move forward too. The queen moves forward twice as fast when you guess things wrong. Now, you don't actually reveal your card, by the way. This card is still secret. You don't reveal it. Now players now know what next turn it is, so they are lowering the amounts of information, the possible guesses on the table. And that's the game. That's primarily the game that you have on the table. Place down a token, try to make educated guesses and or deductions around what happened, and you want to think through what other players did and didn't do. If there's another piece that I could have grabbed, why didn't I grab this yellow one? Could I have placed this diamond one over here? Could it have gone over here? The better the players get, the higher the level of deduction you read into not just what was done, but what wasn't done at the same time. Now, a few more things to note. As you pass the white rabbit, we're going to go ahead and move the white rabbit to the next spot on the table, and then we're going to grab one of these little things over here and clip it underneath the queen and put it down. Now every turn the queen moves 2, and when you're wrong, the queen moves 4, doubling the movement. Rinse and repeat, adding these every single time you pass the white rabbit. You're going to add more and more tokens around the board until eventually you get to a point where the board is mostly full, but you have this little menacing queen chasing after you, moving 4, whether or not you got things right. So sure, you correctly guess this one, you move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You incorrectly guess this one, and you hold on to it. Nothing. You don't move at all, and now the queen's moving forward 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, 9, 10, because it's actually higher. 9, 10! And now we're dead. The queen also fell apart along the way, but it doesn't matter. We've lost the game. That is going to be Paint the Roses, a deduction game of trying to outrun the queen, of trying to outpace the queen. Choosing cards that match your skill level. Easy cards are great, but they don't give you that much of a reward, which means outpacing the queen is going to get harder and harder as the queen slowly moves around the board. Medium cards are a good, healthy balance of compromise. Hard cards almost always require multiple pieces of information. It's rare that you can get a hard card deduced in a single placement. The good news is something we didn't talk about, is you're always putting things down even on others' turn. If another player had, diamond to club, when I put that down, they would have put down a single token, which gives us more information, and you can be tracking all this, well, either in your head if you want, or using various notepads to track down and slowly eliminate various options of what's going on with the players at the board. That's going to be everything in the core game, although we haven't really talked about everything because we have more than the core game here. I haven't actually said this, I should have said this earlier in the video. This is a Kickstarter. There'll be a link to the Kickstarter, and this is a prototype. It's a very, 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 very nice prototype that looks like it may or may not be as close as you get to final production, but I think it's still a prototype. But either way, once you're done with all this, once you're a little bit bored because you've played this game 5 times, the same exact engine is happening time after time, you now introduce you to the keys. The keys are going to be a way of playing the game where you still have to do everything we said, but now you can earn between 1 to 5 keys as you play through the game. 1 to 5 keys that give you a level of difficulty scaling that the more keys you get, the better. And a whole bunch of modules. You're going to have the Queen of Hearts, who's always trying to chase you down and kill you. And then you're going to have, Cheshire Cat, you're going to have Alice, the Mad Hatter, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Jabberwocky, Tweedledee and Tweedledum again, it's the same card set, and the White Rabbit. Now let's go ahead and grab the Cheshire Cat for this example. So, every single game gets messed up, that gets mixed up with the modules at play. Although messed up is true as well because we're going to be drawing these cards and putting one down in the palace. That represents the Queen's card, something bad will be happening to us this turn. Then we have the way you're going to score keys, which is going to vary by different characters that you have in the game. So using these, for example, we have these patterns over here. Let's go ahead and shuffle these up and display 5 patterns that we have to achieve as we play while we're playing. And this is just one module. I'm not going to show them all. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 over there. Perfect. That's not perfect. That's not in frame. Let's go ahead and move these over a bit. Hopefully you can see that there. Perfect. That's good enough. You can see it on the camera. Then we're going to go ahead and put these off to the side. Those are the 5 patterns you want to achieve. And then lastly, we have the Cheshire Cat's objectives as well, similar to the Queen's. We're going to place one out. And now we have something good and bad that happens to us. Let me go ahead and read them because I have no idea what these are. The Queen moves 2 spaces each time a purple or yellow tile is played. So the Queen's going to have a card that negatively affects us in some way that mixes up how we play or approach the game. And then we have the Cheshire Cat helping us. Help from the cat. swap any purple tile in the garden with another tile in the garden. And that swapping is going to be important because we are trying to achieve these patterns. In straight lines on the board, either, well, it looks like we have all the colors over here. So we have pink, red, purple, and yellow. And then we have all spades. Now, fortunately, we have a bunch of spades on the board already, but we also have these over here, these 3 reds, although that line of reds is cut off over there. Let's go ahead and draw another one from the bag. Trying to place this down over here. Let's grab a red somewhere. We're going to just grab a red out over here, putting that over here. And so now, using the Cheshire Cat's ability, we have swap any purple tile in the garden with another tile in the garden. Doesn't actually help me. It doesn't actually help me, unfortunately. Let's pretend instead. Nope, that won't help me either. That won't help me. This is harder than I looked. I probably should have set this up. But let's, for example, let's just pretend that that were like this, just so I can do this over here. And now on my turn, what I can do is once we have this down over here, we can go ahead and take a turn to swap the 2 of these, in turn creating a bit of a pattern. And now that we've achieved this line, we can remove this card from the game and take one of the keys. And we have to do that for each of the 4 patterns, managing the various shapes or colors as you go to earn keys while managing these abilities. And every time the rabbit passes a line, you're going to draw 1 card from each of these. You're going to draw another card for each of the helper and herding, choose one to keep, and put those in place. So you have some sort of variability mixing it up. That's going to be the modules you have in the game. Each of them presenting a way of earning 5 keys. Each of them presenting some sort of new puzzle you have to manage. Whether it's a timer on the game, whether it's different helpers, whether it's patterns you're going for, different things you're trying to do, while still playing the same core game of Paint the Roses. Which brings us way too long into the review, to the actual review part of the review. From what I liked, didn't like, and can see others covering. What I liked, didn't like, and can see others not liking in this video. So, Paint the Roses. To begin with, it's deduction. I generally like deduction as a genre. I find there's a degree of cleverness involved of trying to figure out and slowly eliminating the options on the table and then picking one. And cooperative deduction is even better because, for myself, I find that when you play pure deduction games, more often than not, one player, as you play the game more and more, one player will get better at that puzzle, the person who's playing the game the most, and then they have a blast while everyone else is struggling along the way. I find cooperative deduction to a certain extent solves that puzzle. You can have players of mismatched skill levels to an extent, approaching the same puzzle and benefiting from the shared knowledge of the group. You do potentially run into alpha player syndrome with that. One person knowing other stuff and the other players not realizing it. So that absolutely can be a problem. But assuming that can be managed, you do have that collaboration as you work together towards solving something, as you talk things through. What if we played a green? No. What if you played if you move this here? What if we do this? Which card do we want to keep? Which is going to give us the better opportunity towards solving that puzzle. And this game gives you levels of deduction. You can play this game with your kids while they grab easy cards, which is great. They can grab an easy card, put something down, have an easy time, no problem at all solving what's going on. But you can also play it with gamers or adults or whoever as you try to go for the more challenging hard cards, and the game will scale with you. The queen will pick up their pace and move faster. Sure, you can get away with someone at the table playing an easy card, but it escalates as you go. And then on top of that escalation, we have the challenges. We have the modules that will give you more gameplay. So now, not only are you trying to escalate and play with hard cards, not only is your level of skill slowly increasing as you read into, for instance, let's go ahead and grab this over here. This is going to be a fun one for you, okay? I'm going to do this one right here, right now. I have a color-to-color card, and I'm going to go ahead and put down a card into the market. Here we go. And then I'm going to put something down, and you can now choose exactly what it's going to be. Okay, I'm putting this down here, and I'm putting down nothing. Okay? Nothing. So what pieces of information do you have? What piece of information do you have if that's nothing? Can you guess what this card is? It's red to red. Now, you may not have been able to perfectly deduce that it's red to red, but you certainly could have known that it's not going to be anything else that's going to be one of these colors over here. Because any of these other colors on the table, well, no, you do know it's red to red. You know it's red to red because any of these other colors on the table could have been placed adjacent to any other color to give you a pattern. The only color I didn't have in the market was red. And so the fact that I put nothing down should tell you that it was red to red is the only option I had. Because anything else could have been fulfilled. Anything else could have given you that answer. And so you're going to increase the levels of difficulty as you grow. But then also on top of that, the modules, giving you more of a puzzle as you try to figure out how to balance all the things you already know while also mixing in these variable scoring objectives. Sure, you're still trying to figure out the garden and plant everything else and stay ahead of the queen. But now, along the way, you have this annoying Cheshire Cat who also wants you to start putting lines of colors and shapes in a row, which is just adding to your obfuscation of what you're actually doing here. And so I like that sense of escalation as you play. And it mostly plays well on other players' turns at the same time. Because of the nature of you putting down a tile can draw out others' cubes, there's a degree of investment of other players' turns trying to think through what they have and haven't responded to as it goes around the table, and thinking through, well, no one's put that down in that combination, maybe I'll try doing this here. Both of these can fulfill my set, but I'll also keep them involved and possibly draw out what they need from the game. And so you have that involvement on everyone else's turn. And you have that feeling of being chased by the queen. The queen, who starts off so ridiculously manageable, moving one space at a time as you get those easy clues out of the way, never getting anything wrong. And then as you start accelerating, as you pass the white rabbit, the queen picks up pace herself, moving faster across the garden to slowly chase you down. And as you get things wrong, things become more and increasingly tense as you slowly stay ahead of the queen until 1 second, you're not. And you're dead, and you've lost, and it's too late now, it's all over, the garden's dead and ruined, and well, time to start again. As far as what I didn't like with the game, playing on different skill levels can be a bit frustrating. I said that the game plays well at different skill levels, and it's true to an extent, but it also can be frustrating. That alpha player aspect is true. That idea that you can be sitting at the table knowing full well that you can draw out this information because you've played this game 14 times and you know that what I did is as important as what I didn't do, and that reading into the fact that I placed it here instead of here gives you 4 pieces of information, and watching others at the table not pick that up. Well, sometimes, depending on who you are, it can be frustrating playing with people who aren't seeing the signs that you're placing down. This game does play well. This game accommodates different skill levels, but playing at different skill levels can be a degree of frustration, can have a degree of frustration as you try to not alpha player their experience while still knowing more than others at the table and wanting them to pick up what you're, well, quite literally putting down. As far as what I can see others not liking the game, there's going to be a few things. And first of all, luck of the draw plays a part. What shows up in the greenhouse does factor in. The way the cards play out, the way the tiles come out, the cards you draw, and the way you're putting down a card in someone else's turn can or can't trigger. There's definitely a degree of luck in the game, which can be frustrating for something that is otherwise a very strategic deduction game of perfect information, which is not always going to be perfect information, but has that aspect. And then later in the game, a single bad turn can take you out even if you've had an otherwise very strong game. The nature of the queen escalating, the nature of the queen catching up with you means that it can very possibly move 10 spaces on a single wrong guess. And if you are not far enough ahead, you can feel like you're winning, you can feel like you're in control, and it won't matter. You'll die. And that can be a bit anticlimactic. Having the queen catch you, that's fine. Having the queen catch you late game when you feel like you're ahead, but you haven't counted the fact that you're only 9 spaces ahead and the queen's moving 10, that can be a slightly anticlimactic ending to the game. And then lastly, the scoring system based on modules could be something, I don't know what you look for or don't look for, but the way the game works when you have the modules is you basically win or lose based off the standard criteria, but then you score 1 to 5 keys. Speaking for myself, I prefer a bit of a binary win-lose mechanism. I don't really love scoring, oh yeah, I got a 3-key win today. I like winning or losing. I don't care if I win or lose, but I like winning or losing. The reason this is not a problem for me is, in my head, if I don't get 5 keys, I consider it a loss. So you can really just start the game by setting, you need 3 keys or you need 4 keys. Depending on who you're playing with, set the win-loss condition to whatever number of keys you want, and then just play it accordingly. As far as final thoughts on Paint the Roses, this is going to be a slightly mixed ending. And slightly mixed primarily because this, what you see over here, is the Kickstarter Deluxe copy of the game, which comes with all these modules and expansions and deluxeified tiles and game trays, inserts, and all these extras. And then there's going to be a retail copy of the game. And my score for the retail versus deluxe is going to be different. Paint the Roses offers me a lot of fun. It offers me deduction that I enjoy and a puzzle that I appreciate and beautiful tiles and a sense of that Alice in Wonderland zaniness that, well, I'd say that I've come to know and love, but I don't actually care about it that much. But I do like the theme when put on games. I'm looking forward to Wonderland's War as well. But either way, I like the game that Paint the Roses presents. I like the gameplay experience. I appreciate the deduction. I like working together. And I like the fact that the game can escalate and adjust to the player's difficulty. On its own, though, if you remove the modules, forget the deluxeification, I can live without that. But if you remove the modules, this is a 3 out of 5 for me. It's a good, solid deduction game, but one that gets very boring very quickly. Very boring, perhaps a bit extreme, but it certainly does lose its luster 4 or 5 plays in, because it's the same thing every single time. There's only so many ways you can place down a tile and then read into what other players are doing. The only sense of change in the game is the change of the player's skill level. The actual game is fairly simple and fairly similar once you've played it 3 or 4 times in. So the base game is a 3 out of 5 for me. A solid game, good recommendation, but not one that I'm saying is a must-own by any means. But with the modules, with the expansion modules, what you'll get on Kickstarter with the deluxe edition of the game, that's where it really does escalate. For me, I will never play Paint the Roses again without the modules. And, well, maybe for a teaching game. For a teaching game, I'd consider playing without the modules, and even then, I think I'd still play with the modules. This to me is a solid game that these modules, these ways of earning keys, those slight adjustments to the gameplay, give you different games, not just in the sense that each module is a different experience, but even within their own modules, just having the card variability slightly twists and adjusts the puzzle on the table in front of you. And with those modules, with those expansion, Paint the Roses is a 4 to 5 for me. A really solid game that I really like the gameplay. It's quick, it's clean, it's simple to explain, it adjusts and grows with the players, and the modules give it a degree of variability that gives me a reason to dive into it time after time again. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good one.